All right, let's continue learning the basics of drawing on our HTML canvas. So far we set up the canvas, the context, the width and height, drew some rectangles. So we use that context to use the context has all these different methods and variables that can control what we're drawing. And we did rectangles. We saw how we can do stroke and fill. Awesome. After rectangles, I just want to make this a little bit of a bigger heading, draw rectangles. Let's look at text next. So draw text to the canvas. All right, so to do text, again, actually very similar to the rectangle, there's a context dot fill text, and there's a context dot stroke text. And now this is nice. This method takes in some arguments, right? There's the text, the thing that you want to actually print to the screen. That should be a string in quotations. Then an X and a Y, which are where the text should show up on the screen. And I can't remember if it's top left or bottom left. Basically, you can treat your text as like a rectangle, and the X and Y will be either the top left or bottom left. I can't remember. We'll test it out when we make it. And then there's this question mark means it's an optional one, a max width. We won't worry about that. We'll just do the 3. So the text will be hello canvas, why not? And let's do an X and a Y. Let's go maybe 300 and 100. Okay, so remember this is the X and the Y. 300 from the top, 0, 0 is the origin, so 300 this way, 100 down. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Oh dear. So 300 and 100. No, I can't tell if that's, a good way to tell maybe would be if we gave our Y value a 0. If it's the top left corner, then we should see the text, but if it's the bottom left corner, then the text should be off the canvas. So let's take a look. Okay, it's off the canvas, so I believe that would be let's go 20. There it is. So it goes 20 down. So I think it's the bottom left corner. All right. Now, notice the color is green, and that's because the last fill style I set was this RGB, the green color. So if I wanted my text to be something different, I'd have to reset the fill style to be, I don't know, let's just go red. Okay, save that, and now it's red. And as well, we can also use context.font. And in quotations, we can,
students, please come to the office.
Sorry.
Gavin Honer
Let's
and
go
Eric Peter.
42 pixels.
Gavin Honer and Eric Peter to the office.
Everyone's favorite Comic Sans MS. So kind of just like CSS, we can give it a pixels and a font name. One thing I've never tried is loading a Google font. I wonder if we could do that. I bet you if we loaded a Google font, seriously, announcements. Okay, this is what I get for doing this at lunchtime, I guess, eh? Anyway, I wonder if we could load a Google font and then use it in here. I don't know. You can try that. I'm not going to right now, though. So 42 pixels, Comic Sans MS, and boom, there it is. So off the screen, so let's make this a little lower here. 50. Cool. Okay, and then let's try doing, let's change this to context.font and change it to maybe like a 30 pixels Arial. And now just let's go stroke, context.stroke style. Let's make it a lovely, we got red, why don't we do a blue? And then instead of fill text, we can go stroke text. And again, I'll just go hello canvas. And this time, let's go maybe 550. So we'll move it farther to the right. Oh, I didn't have enough room. Hello canvas. Why don't we just do it below? We'll do it the same Y value and put it at 150. Oh, too far. So you can see now that it did the stroke, right? So it did the outline of the text. All right, so let's add a comment here. This is going to be, filled text, and this will be outlined text. And the new things we learned here was that font that we can control. Okay, and that was too far. Let's go ahead. Okay, that's text. Next up, let's look at drawing lines. Draw lines. This one's a little bit different here. And what we're going to use for lines is you can start a path. Okay, so basically you go context.begin path, and then it's a method, so we have to call it, or a function, so we have to call it like that. And then we can do move to and line to, so context.move to. This will, you can almost imagine it like there's a little paintbrush, right, that is going to move to a certain position on the screen. But when you go move to, it doesn't draw anything. It's like you lift up the pen and go to this position. So let's go to 500, 250. Why not? And then if I want to actually draw, so now I'm at this position, my paintbrush is at 500, 250. I can go line to, and that'll actually draw a line, like I drag the paintbrush to that new location. And let's go 700, 200. Okay. Now this won't actually draw anything. If I save this, I don't see any line. What we need to do to actually tell it to do, so we began this path. To actually tell it to draw the path, we go context.stroke, like so. And that'll tell it to actually, draw the specified path. All right, and hopefully, ta-da, there it is. Okay, and again, notice the color is blue because that's the last stroke style I set, right? If I wanted to have a different stroke style, I could just go, before I do my path here, I could go stroke style equals, let's go orange. And another thing we can do also is a line width, context.line width. And I think you can use this line width, you can use this line width also with like the stroke text and the stroke rectangle and stuff. It basically sets the thickness of the stroke. So, and this is just going to be a number. I think the default is 1, so maybe we'll make this 4. So it should make it a little thicker. There it is. Okay, let's try something really thick to make sure it's obvious. 14. There you go, really thick. And I think the points that we specify are centered, and the thickness evenly spreads out between them. Okay, let's put that back to 4, and let's maybe move this up a little bit. 200 and 150. Cool, just because I want some more space here. All right, so that is a line. Oh yeah, and what we can do is this as well, is we could add as many of these line twos as we wanted, right? So context.line to, maybe now I want to go to 600. What was my Y value here? 600 and 100. Right, so dunk dunk, and then to here. Cool. Okay, and you can just keep adding more line twos, and it'll just draw whichever, as many of those as you need. Okay, and actually, what we might talk about now is, yeah, you know what? The exact same thing basically happens if I wanted to draw a polygon. Okay, I'm actually just going to copy and paste this. Because a polygon is simply, right, I could draw a whole bunch of lines. I just want to close the shape, right? So to do that, let's just change this a little bit. Let's change the color to a nice cyan, maybe. Sure. And what I'm going to do now is let's move all of this down. So let's move it down by 200 pixels, maybe 400. So 350 and 300. And we save that. You can now see this. If I wanted to draw a triangle, right, these are the 3 points of my triangle, 500, 400, which is where I started, and then here, here. To basically draw that triangle, we simply go context.close path. Right? And here I didn't close the path because I just wanted to draw those lines, and once I stroked, I just drew it. Close path says basically go back to start of path. Right? I guess I could do another, you could do another line to the beginning, but there's this method that's available to us that we can just say go back to the beginning. If I save that now, it draws that triangle. And of course, if you wanted more, like instead of a triangle, you wanted to do something else, we could go 500, 100, or sorry, 300. Right? And it would just go to that new point and then close the path. Right? So you can do any polygon you want, right? Triangles, quadrilaterals, pentagons, hexagons, all sorts of stuff. Get rid of that one for now. What else do I want to take note of here? Oh, what you can also do is instead of stroke, you can also go fill. Okay, now this one it wouldn't make a difference because we're just drawing a line, but here because we're drawing this shape, we can actually fill the shape as well. Okay, and why is it red? It's red because the last fill style I set was red over here. So if we wanted to change that, I'd have to go fill style cyan. Cool. Okay, so that's using this, the line width we can control. Maybe we can just change this one to 2. Oh, this one we don't need the line width because we should get rid of that because we're doing the fill, right? So if we're doing a stroke, right, a path with a stroke, we can do line width and stroke style. And if we're doing a fill, we can do the fill style, and then we do this closed path to go back to the beginning. All right. I think actually if we didn't do the closed path, let's comment this out. Let's see what happens. I think it still works anyway. Yeah, so I think it's better to do it though, just to make sure. I think if we were doing the stroke and we didn't have that, like fill will work because it still just fills and it kind of assumes you're going to go back there. Whereas if we were doing a stroke, we would definitely need the closed path. Okay. Let's see what we have next. That's polygons. Oh yeah, let's learn how to draw circles. I think I have time for that. Circles. Circles are a little weird. And you guys probably haven't learned about radians yet, but there's degrees and radians. Radians is just another measure of angles. But we can go context. I'm going to draw a stroke circle first. So I'm going to do a line width of 5 maybe. Let's set our stroke style to be maybe a hash. Let's do a hex 0000FF. Sure. And now for circles, we can also use the begin path. And then we draw an arc, context.arc. Now arc takes in a lot of stuff. XY is going to be the center. So let's tell this center to be 100, 500. Then we give it a radius. So let's go maybe 50. And then we need a start angle and an end angle. I can explain this maybe more later. Right now, I don't have too much time. I'm just going to say we're going to start at 0. And we're going to do a full circle, which would be 360 degrees. But in radians, which is what this function uses, we're going to use 2 pi. So I'm going to go 2 times the math object dot pi is a constant that we can use. Okay, and then we'll go context dot stroke. Oops, stroke to draw that. Okay, and there's a circle. Okay, it's basically an arc starting at 0 all the way to 2 pi, right? 1 full rotation. If we change this to just pi, instead of 2 times pi, pi is 180 degrees, so it goes from 0 to pi. Okay, all right, let's keep that 2 times. So I guess circles / arcs is what we're drawing here. Okay, and then of course we can also fill in the circle. I'm just going to copy and paste that. And let's change the line width to 2. Let's change the color to whatever that is. Begin path. Let's just move this over 200. Maybe make it a little smaller. And then instead of stroke, you go fill. There it is. So kind of the cyan, the combination of red and blue. Actually, let's go, I think magenta would be red and green. Oh, did I do something wrong? Oh, because it's stroke style, fill style. There we go, okay. And if we wanted to, well, you know what, no, I think that's good for now. We'll finish up a few other things in the next video. We'll learn how to do images and maybe talk about some layering. Okay, hope that made sense. Take care and see you in the next video.